Hello, my name is Hector Collector, and today I want to make a video that I've been wanting to make for a long while now, and I decided today of all days is a really good day to do it. Yeah. I've decided to talk about why I personally believe, well, not believe, why I like Partners in Time more than Bowser's Inside Story. This is not a joke, despite the day I'm gonna post this. Despite the day that you're seeing this on, it's not a joke. I am serious. So just wanted to get this video out. So, before we continue on, I just want to emphasize this is just my opinion. I am in no way trying to convince anyone that Bowser's Inside Story is bad or that Partners in Time is good. I'm not here to convince you of any of that. I'm just here to tell you why I like Partners in Time more than Bowser's Inside Story. That's it. And also, secondary of all, I live in Puerto Rico, okay? Just so we understand where we're at. Anyway, before we continue with, before we continue that, before we continue, let us go down the list of things I will be discussing in pertaining to Bowser's Inside Story and Partners in Time. We'll be, of course, discussing the gameplay, the locations, the enemies, as well as the bosses, the story, as well as the enemies, the NPCs, and the villains themselves. I think covering these topics will pretty much give a clear picture of why I personally like one game over the other. Okay? Anyway, but first, let us discuss a few things that I like about Bowser's Inside Story. So we can at least start off on a good foot. Now, first and foremost, I really do like controlling Bowser in the battles. I do like that he has like two methods of defending when the enemies come at them. Like attack and his whole arsenal of attacking and what have you. It's like it's fine. It's typical, but I really do like the the defending portion. Like the fact that you can either crouch or punch, and that's just like two options whenever you're defending. It's like the Mario and Luigi which foe they're gonna attack, but it's like more so trying to decipher how the enemies. It's like a different context for basically the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I think that's really cool. Anyway, what else do I like? Well, I like the music, obviously. The composer hold on, what's Yoko Shimomura? Yoko Shimomura. That's she does great stuff. It, not a complaint on my end. I just always love all the music she's done. Fantastic work. The graphics, well, of course, it's great. The pixels of the original, I love them. They're very expressive. Everyone's very cartoony, bright, and colorful. They haven't gone. Alpha Dream has not gone wrong when creating the visuals for these games. I have yet to see a game that's bad visually from Alpha Dream. Let's just put it that way. And last but not least, I cannot deny the finale, the grand finale, is so good. I love it so much. It hits that niche of of hero versus evil doppelganger. I hesitate to call Bowser a hero, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like I always love that stuff. I always love facing off against your like evil half, like just oops, like just someone else who has the same skill sets of you. Like just I know there's mid BiS, but like man, I gotta give it up to Dog Bowser for actually using some of the moves Bowser has. And like I know story wise it makes sense why, but like you could pretty much write whatever you want into your story to make stuff make sense. And you know, whatever. I like it. I like the Dog Bowser. I like the final fight. The whole thing is so good. I love it. Now, with all that said, I think it's time to get on to the main topic at hand and why I personally believe one side does it better than the other, in my personal opinion. So, first and foremost, the gameplay. why do I think Partners in Time has better gameplay than Bowser's Inside Story? Well, apparently because I believe that Partners in Time just has higher highs, in my opinion, while Bowser's Inside Story just it has highs but also has lows. Like like to start off, the giant fights in Bowser's Inside Story, I do not like him. I just do not. Not a single one I've enjoyed. Maybe the only one I did was like the tutorial one, but all the other ones, there was just always an issue with each and every one I had. Like I didn't really like the Tower Yik thing. The Peach's Castle one was just kind of annoying, truth be told. I just didn't like it. And then Farfus Express was the one that just soured the whole thing for me. Like I was just sick of it by that point. I don't even remember if there was a fifth one. Kind of feel like there was. Bowser's Castle, Peach's Castle, Tower Yik, Farfus Express. There was a fifth one, right? I have no memory of a fifth one, but it definitely feels like he's done this at least 5 times. I could check this, but I kind of feel like the fact that I just don't remember just really speaks volumes to me, you know? I just don't remember. Like, I'm sure people who've played Bowser's Inside Story religiously are probably screaming at my scream about a fifth one, or at least telling me, you dumbass, there is no fifth one. But, yeah, whatever. I can't be bothered. Anyway, Partners in Time, on the other hand, I just love the baby mechanic. The way that it's just like its own little story explanation for why Mario and Luigi can bounce twice. A mechanic that just gets incorporated into the later games without the babies. They were just like, you know what, that worked so well. We're just gonna keep it. And you know what? Fuck yeah. And I just love that the babies, that the bro items, I love that they work differently when with and without the babies. I like that the babies always add like an extra hit to them. It's really good. I love the way the whole thing just works with the bros and the babies and stuff. The way everything evolves when you're with and without the babies, and how the game just like juggles them both. And I just generally like it. Also, back to Bowser's Inside Story, I realized I didn't explain the top two, Bowser and Mario and Luigi. Whoopsie. Anyway, Bowser, despite the fact that I said his battle was great, I just genuinely didn't like walking around as him. It was so boring. I just didn't like it. Like, the punch can like send you forward, but it's just such a shitty dash in my opinion. I just did not like it. And then you get the turtle shell move that you get to like right at the end. So it's like great, right? Wait, is it right at the end? I think so. I can't remember. Whoopsie. Well, I'm not gonna commit to that opinion. I don't know when you get the turtle shell rolling around mechanic, but it's just, I don't know. It really didn't feel like I was moving any faster than as Bowser. Maybe I was, but it didn't really change much for me. It was just still overall annoying. And Mario and Luigi themselves, they just felt bland. It just felt like the Superstar Saga, but now you can double jump. And the bros items just became bro moves. I don't know. It was, compared to Bowser, Mario and Luigi just felt like they had their own little generic thing going on. It was just, man. I don't know. They just didn't really inspire much to me. And considering the fact that half of their adventure was in 2D, and I was just, ooh, let me tell you, Dream Team really perfected that 2D section. I'm sorry. I have to say it. I just don't think Bowser's Inside Story did the 2D section very well. Dream Team definitely did it way better. And back to Partners in Time, just one more thing. I love the puzzles. The puzzles are fantastic. I love the way you just have both screens are working with him. Oh yeah, that too. The 2-screen mechanic. If Bowser's Inside Story also did it, they took it from Partners in Time. Another mark for them, alright? Yeah. So, yeah. Gameplay wise, that's why I like Partners in Time more than Bowser's Inside Story. Personally. That's what I think. Now then. Locations. I don't know if I really have to explain this, but like Partners in Time really does have like a lot more interesting locations, just in general, in my opinion. Like Partners in Time, if I had to explain the locations, you have the forest with the forest with the Vim factory where all the toads are like tied up to trees and having their life force sucked out of them. You have the swamp volcano. You have Joshi's Island. You've got Peach's Castle overrun by the Shubs. You've got Toad Town destroyed. Star Land Road Gate. You know what I'm saying? The top thing. Yeah, that up there, the one that's above Shub's castle in that little image thing I got there. You got Bowser's Jr.'s castle, and the Koopaseum, the sand desert thing. Come on, it's just all so good. It's just all works together. It's just really good. I would talk more, but I would start getting into the themes, and I'm saving that for later. Just saying the locations are great. Bowser's Inside Story. It has, I would have to say, like 3 interesting locations. Bowser's Castle, the top part, not the basement, the top part, with the whole Fawful having turned into a whole theater. Then there's Peach's Castle turned to Fawful's Castle. And then there's, I think I'm talking about Plaque Beach. I don't think I am. I hope I wasn't. Because I don't like Plaque Beach. It's so stupid. I honestly think the beach is such a dumb area. I just don't like the areas. There's like 2 areas that just, 2 or 3, that just morph into the same thing. There's like 3 areas that's the same thing. There's the forest area. I think the Dimple Woods. Then there's the plains. And then there's that area with the sunflowers. And I know they're different because the colors are different. Like the woods is like dark green. Then the plains are like light green. And then there's the sunflower section that's like yellowish. That's what I remember. I need to clarify, this opinion's based on just playing it twice. But I do also think that the fact that I've played it twice, and at no point that I think, wow, actually this game's actually pretty good, really speaks to it. Like I don't remember the area as much. I know the Shik's Tower that you go into, but I don't think you do much in there. You just go in there, go to the top floor, and then unlock the ghostly area inside of Bowser. Speaking of Bowser, I do not like those innards of his. They're just boring also. It's all just body. I don't know, like the mechanics that you do with Bowser made them a bit interesting, but just, I don't know, just more mechanics that to traverse the area. Like none of the other games has this shit. Like maybe Dream Team to an extent, but like, man, there's like no gimmicks in any of the other games to traverse the area in. At least I don't think. Like there's a theme, and there's shit to do with the theme of the area, but like, I don't know. I can't personally remember there being a gimmick. Even you can even like make a stretch and say who university had like a weird gimmick to traverse around, but no, you didn't. It was just progression. You were just unlocking more. Bowser's innards, it was all just a big puzzle to get around. I just didn't like that. It was boring. Personally speaking, opinion wise. Anyway, yeah. That's why I like the locations in Partners in Time more than Bowser's Inside Story. My opinion. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the enemies. Sorry for the fact that half that the Partners in Time half is animated and the Bowser's Inside Story is not. I got them both from the same wiki. So for some reason the wiki just didn't have animated versions of the Bowser's Inside Story guys, okay? This is not a preference thing. This is just how I came about them, okay? Anyway, the enemy variety, I just really like the Partners in Time ones more. Like the Bowser's Inside Story really has some nice enemy variety. Like it's basically just 2 good things, but I like one more than the other. Like this isn't like a negative like the last 2. This is just 2 goods. But I cannot deny I absolutely love the Partners in Time enemies way more than the Bowser's Inside Story one. Like the Shubified enemies, the Shubs, like all those creatures. I just like them a lot more. Like the Fall Flies enemies are cool, but they're just kind of weird in my opinion. Like I don't know. They don't hold a spot in my heart the same way the Super Fight guys do. But with all that being said, the Choomba, the little chimney Goomba there on the bottom right, you see him. Yeah, that one's my top favorite in Bowser's Inside Story. Absolutely love him. That's why I will say that. All right, I'll admit it. But yeah, I just love the variety of Shoops and how they tell a story. Kinda. The fact that Shoops are so hydrophobic they would light themselves on fire or swim in sand. It's good. It's foreshadowing. It lets you know something's up. And also the fact that the Shoops themselves are just. You never beat the normal Shoops. You beat them in Bowser's Inside Story, and they're like a mini boss. So it's like, whoa. It adds to what Partners in Time was telling you. You know? It gave you that tutorial fight. No, not the tutorial fight. The intro fight to the Shoops. And told you, yeah, you couldn't beat them before because they had a giant laser, but now they don't. So good luck with that. And I think that's pretty cool. Now then, the bosses. The bosses. I don't remember the bosses of Bowser's Inside Story fondly. Like there's like a handful, like probably the ones you see on screen there. It's probably the ones I remember the best. Obviously, I remember the final boss. I already talked about that. BiS is a great boss. The Mario memory guys. That lava thing. I actually don't remember her much. I actually have no memory for a lot of the Bowser's Inside Story bosses. Not even like, man, they were just creatures. A lot of them were just creatures. I think. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another boss. I know the one that was clogging up Bowser's throat and he couldn't breathe fire. I know that one. Who? I can't remember much. Like the giant fights, I remember them, but I just didn't like them, so that's just already a negative on Bowser's Inside Story part. But damn, I'm trying to be fair here. I'm trying to think. But I can't think of any. I guess that's why I like Partners in Time more. They're just more memorable. Memorable on my end. But again, this is just going off the fact that I've played Partners in Time a shit ton. And I've only played Bowser's Inside Story twice. But I don't know. Like you've seen people talk about Bowser's Inside Story a ton. But they never talk about the bosses much. Like one of them seems to be like a Lady in the River reference. One of them is just the memories of Bowser, which is cool. I think that's cool. There's BiS, who much like Dark Bowser is like the inverse of Bowser. I think he's cool too. Farful, obviously. Obviously, fight Farful. Oh my god. I forgot about the Dark Star. Yeah, obviously. I'm looking at him right now. Yeah, obviously Farful's black there because of the Dark Star. Right. And he's a memorable guy. He's one of the bigger bosses. I just completely forgot about him. I don't know. Meanwhile, Partners in Time, I just like all of these bosses. They're all great. The Shoeboids, the Junior, the Brat, the Elder, the Swiggler, Commander Shoob, as infamous as this guy is. As infamous as you are, dude. I still remember Commander Shoob. He's great. Mrs. Thwomp, she's great. I love her. I love her design a lot. It's just it's such the funniest way to do a female Thwomp would be round. Like you still have that Thwomp face and everything. That's just round. Men are square, women are round. You have PiT Piranha in here. Come on. You're fighting Bowser and Baby Bowser, which again, back to my main point, is the inverse. Mario and Luigi have their baby versions. Bowser has his. It's like, oh. It's just more of that sweet stuff. And of course, the Princess Shoobs. Both of them. They're just all great bosses. Like I can probably name like way more. I probably should because I'm just naming the ones I see on screen. Uh, actually, they pretty much have everyone here. I mean, because it's like, yeah, there's so many great bosses. The Hammer Bros, as lead speak as they are, is a cool boss. The Yube fight, no, not the Yube, Sunnyside. Yeah, I just love that one. The way you just free the Joshis so that they can open up Sunnyside so you can fight them. So many others. So many others. Yeah, I do feel like this is a bit unfair, but like, I don't know. I'm looking at the fucking worm there on the Bowser's That Story side, and I just do not remember her. Like, come on. I've got 8 on one side, 5 on the other, and I remember everyone fondly on one side, and just only remember 4, maybe even 3. Like, if you took me on a off day and asked me about bosses, I'd probably be able to not even list off Mario memory. I'd be like, there's Mid-BiS, there's Farful, there's the Dark Star. Maybe I'll remember it then. Dark Bowser. I would not remember the Giants fights memorably. No. But yeah. I just remember the bosses of Punch in Time more fondly. They was just more interesting. They told a story. Kinda. I think. But yeah, it's just so interesting. Such interesting and varied fights. As opposed to Bowser's That Story, which I cannot remember any except for those relevant to the story, kinda. I think. I'm not really making a convincing argument on this end. Just straight up, just I remember more Partners in Time villains more than Bowser's That Story, and I already told you why. I played Partners in Time more than BiS. But isn't that strange? I'm not even gonna get on that. Anyway, on to the next one. The story. I mean, you've got to admit, Partners in Time has a pretty kick-ass story. Trying to save the past from an alien invasion, rescue Peach from the alien shubs. There's a weird green guy in the basement. I mean, Partners in Time basically set up Bowser's Inside Story. Let's be real here. Partially joking, but like that's why Farfel was down there. You can't deny. However, Bowser's Inside Story was straight up about the Bowser's Inside Story was like an inverse of Superstar Saga. Like everything that happens in it, like with the way Farfel tricked Bowser, with getting the Dark Star, just the fact that Farfel had Peach's castle, where Calculator had Bowser's. It was just all of the same. Not really. Beat wise, it was really interesting. Again, this is just like 2 good stories. I just remember the Partners in Time one more fondly. It had baby segments. You can't say the same thing about Bowser's Inside Story. What did you have there? Bowser being snarky with Chippy? Huh. I mean, those were pretty funny. But it was kind of a bit strange. I do feel like it was a bit disjointed. No, it was disjointed. But Partners in Time really benefited on being linear because you just had shit going on. Bowser's That Story, I'm just thinking of it and I'm just like, there's like 2 stories happening at the same time. Mario and Luigi are trying to cure the, what would they call it? The Blorbs. Bowser trying to get his castle back and get revenge on Farfel. And then there was also trying to keep Peach safe. And it was just a lot at once. Partners in Time had 1 story and told it well. Bowser's Story had 3. Had a lot going on. Not even Superstar Saga had that many. Like I had 1. We just had too many characters with too many goals in here. Like I feel like Bowser's Story was the one with just like the most stories. There was just a lot going on. I've kind of lost count. I don't even remember why Luigi was in a sock. You know, remember those sock enemies? I can't remember for the life of me why that happened. It was just happened chance. It just happened. I think Mario got like kidnapped once, and then Luigi was like, "Oh, I better save him," and then got into a sock by accident and rescued him from there. Half the shit that happened there was just non sequiturs. Truth be told. Like, yeah, you could probably fault Superstar Saga for that as well, but it's just like it fit, you know? Like when Luigi was going to get that herb to cure Mario of the green fever, there was no pressing issue there. It was just the story at the moment. Peach was safe, you were on vacation, you were going to Fungi Town, Mario got sick, Luigi had to go and rescue him. It was just shit like that. There was like no ticking clock or anything. There was no blowups. There was no Bowser wanting to get his castle back. There was no Peach in danger. It was just that. You know what I'm saying? So like, Bowser's that story just had like a lot of things, and like a lot of times I was just thinking like to myself like, do we really have time for this? Even the remake, the remake just added more shit with the side story with Bowser Jr. encountering Mario, and they both just kind of like stopped. Then they were like, "Wait, guys, we don't have time for this," and it just really put into perspective everything else they did have time for. You know what I'm saying? Like you're probably going into the comments and be like, "Ah, no, it just made sense." Like yada yada and the yada yada. You know, I'm yada yading, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, but still, you can't deny they did have a lot of time for a lot of shit. I'm just saying. Opponents in time, concise. They had a goal, they focused on it, and we had a pretty good time on it. Well, I did. I did at least. Alright. So yeah. Anyway, with that being said, the themes of the story, kinda. I just man, the themes of Opponents in Time were just so strong. This is the one thing I really want to gush about. It's just the themes. The fact that the past was just dealing with an apocalypse. You it the Point in Time was an apocalypse happening in the past. You had alien invasion, you had giant monsters, you had alien overlords, fucking the Coliseum, the Thunderdome, destruction, and all of that was happening in the past. Like, sure, it didn't really make much sense that nobody remembers this in the present, but like, you can't deny that was a cool twist. It was like all the shit you see in apocalypse movies, but happening in the past rather than the future. I thought that was fucking badass. I think that was neat as hell. Meanwhile, Bowser's Inside Story's themes was body parts. God, that's great. That's why fucking Pac Beach had teeth in him because of body parts. Ugh. Like, I don't know, man. What were even the themes of Bowser's Inside Story? Fawful? Getting fawfulized? The blorbs? Come on. Like, theme-wise, Punish Inside Story really did have it going. Like, it was just the strongest. I honestly think it's probably the strongest themes in the whole series. I mean, what the Dream Team had. Dreams? Come on. Superstar Saga had laughter, and they really went wild with it. I will give it. Punish in Time and Superstar Saga. They're like toe to toe with the themes. Bowser's Inside Story? Nah, you lost me. Body parts? Ugh. There's like dimple woods, but I didn't see a single dimple in there. I don't think. I probably would have remembered if I saw a dimple in there. You know, I'm just saying. Yeah. Theme wise, man, Punish in Time knocked it out of the park. I'm just saying. Alright? Now then, the NPCs. This, again, it's a bit unfair because I know I have friends who just. I have a friend, I think, who just remembers Dr. Toadley fondly. That rhymed. Like, yeah, I get it. The characters in Bowser's Inside Story were quirky, I guess. But, like, me personally, I just really found them, like, a bit of a waste of time, truth be told. Like Coops, like old Coot. Well, like, I don't know. The fact that it was just an NPC there to, like, put together the pieces, that was great. And then there was Chakron, which I suppose it was cool that I think it implied that Chakron was like the one who teleported Bowser, right? He's the one who's teleporting Bowser all over with the fast travel. I think that's what it's implying, right? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments. But like, even then, Chakron he was just non-memorable. He's the one who gives you that quest to get that one power up that makes Luigi fat. Like, that's great. Thanks, man. And Dr. Toadley, I think that's his name. I swear to God, I've been getting his name wrong this whole time. I am so sorry. But yeah, the Doctor, who's just a mystic. I think that was cool. A little weird. It kind of like felt strange. It just really felt like they had like a twist in mind. But they also had a different character, and they realized, we don't really have anything for this Doctor character. So they thought, put the mystic there. It was just so strange. Like, there's just a mystic who's a Doctor. Like, that's silly. That's funny. But I just don't get it. It's funny, but not funny to me. I don't get it. Upon this incest story, I don't think I have to really talk much about why this one does it better. Fawful's there. You like Fawful, right? Look, there he is. I don't know why that one's a gift and nothing else is. But there he is. Fawful. But yeah. Also, you have young Egad. You have Kylie Cooper. You know what? Kylie Cooper just by herself. There's not a lot of NPCs, but what's there? It's just so good. I always remember Kylie Cooper. I always remember how she like joined you in the mothership. Oh yeah, that was another location. The mothership itself. Oh. And she was there. And I always remember that moment fondly. Like, she's like, hey, I found the key, and we can like yada yadaing. I don't even know what the key was for. But hey, it gave us moments with her and the bros and the babies, and that was cool. I always liked that moment a lot. She has a lot of memorable moments to her. It's really good. And young Egad, I like it. He's like Egad. He's like the one piece of my theory that this whole game takes place, Partisan Time, takes place in a perfect time loop. Like, nothing changes except for the one idea you give Egad, and then that changes. And it's like, time loop wise, it's like that change happens. It has to happen, otherwise the bros are doomed. Like, nothing changes except for what you do to Egad, but nothing else. That's why Egad is my favorite. I like Egad. I also like young Egad. It's so funny they just gave him a younger version. Just painted his hair brown. Probably got rid of the wrinkles. But yeah, with all that said, up next is the villains. But before we get to that, I must remind you, this is my opinion, and I live in Puerto Rico. Okay? We all understand that? Okay. So, on with the villains. I truly am sorry. I just like the Shoobs more. The Shoobs are just stronger villains. Fawful and Midbis, they just get overshadowed right at the end. They just had so much going for them. But then Midbis gets taken out in like a ice cube thing. He just gets frozen in there and stuck right after that. It's like, I know this is like near the end of the game, but it's just like, man, there's like a whole other area of Bowser and a Fawful boss fight, and then the final boss. There's like, excuse me, so much to do. And maybe it's just taken out like right then and there, nothing else for him. And then you fight Fawful right after that, and he's just taken out as well. Like, that was Fawful. And he's just taken out. Like, I know Cacaletta gets taken out halfway, but she possesses Bowser at least. What does Fawful do? He gets eaten by Dark Bowser. And after that, he's not Fawful anymore. When you fight him in the final boss, that's not Fawful. That's the Dark Star. Dark Star Core. My bad. Everything about Fawful gets stripped from him. Like, the whole game is about him. But at the very end, it's just all taken from him. Like the thing he's fighting for just consumes him and becomes the main villain. And there's a story there, and you're probably hearing me say all this and thinking, how the fuck do I not like these guys more than the Shoobs? And I do need to emphasize, the main reason is because Dark Star is just not interesting. like everything I said, like these guys fighting so hard for this piece of power that they want, and that piece of power ends up consuming them and taking control and just being the main villain. It's such a good theme. Dark Star is such a boring villain. Like, he's just evil. He's just evil. He's just a villain. He's a ball with red evil eyes and spikes. And then he turns into Bowser, but evil. And Bowser's already evil. So what do you have? Just some guy being an edgier Bowser? like, man. And then that ending. Like, just, like, I'm not even gonna get into it. You know what happened at the end. Yada yada. And then everyone's dead. Except for BiS. I think he's just frozen. I mean, fine, alright, they're not really dead. I'm just, for the sake and purpose of story-wise, like, yeah, that's the end. The end. Like, this Dark Star is gone, Farfel's gone, BiS is frozen in an ice cube, but then what? And then what was left? What do we get out of that? Farfel and BiS getting replaced by a nothing villain. Just nothing. I gotta be honest, like, yeah, Dark Bowser is cool, and we all love him, but you can't say that he holds any sort of candle up to the Shoobs. Like, I will dock one point that the Shrouzer fight at the end was kind of bullshit. Like, it did give us like, whoa, Elder Shoob is back with a vengeance, but then like the boss fight itself was kind of lame. And yet, you cannot deny that Princess Shoob and Elder Princess Shoob, they were badass. A lot of people are probably arguing, well, yeah, but I defeated them so quick, so it was just nothing. Yeah, to you. But leave it to someone who just did not have the proper timing and had to fight the Shoobs head on, as they were. To me, they weren't just quick blips of nothingness that just passed by so quick. To me, these were fights that were epic. I mean, they were back to back to back also, which was a little annoying, but despite all that, they were epic. It was epic. I mean, come on. You fight Princess Shoob, and then it reveals that that there's another Shoob, and like, Elder Princess Shoob is just so much better, so much more, there's so much character to her. This is how we replace villains with a good villain, alright? Like, it didn't even consume Shoob. This is what she wanted. She wanted her sister out of the star, and then she gets out of the star, and then you find this much more insane version of the Princess Shoob you were fighting. This Princess Shoob just didn't give a shit about her people. She was pissed. She wanted you dead. She would shoot down her own people to get you. Ruthless. What did Dark Bowser give us? What did Dark Star give us? The Dark Core? Nothing. Just something that consumes. You're nothing but an eldritch beast. And that's it. Like, you're cool when I say it out loud like that, but you just gave us nothing. Alright? You gave me nothing to work with. We're just an evil villain who wanted to destroy the world, I think? I don't know. I've seen the grand finale musical so many times. I kept forgetting what the hell this guy was on about. Like, you even have a final talk with Dark Bowser, and Bowser's just like, oh, cool. And he just doesn't care. He's just like, fuck yeah. I want an epic fight. And I'm gonna get one. And he gets it. And it's an epic fight. But with what? Just an evil Bowser. Like, I sing the praises of the grand finale, but at the end of the day, who are you having this fight with? Just a nothing villain. And a something villain that got reduced to not even his own name. Just something to power the thing he fought so much for. Like, the themes are there, and it's a really cool theme, but the lead up, it's like Dream Team. It's like the Dream Team problem. You have this villain that you keep building up, but you didn't even get that chance. Dream Team did even worse. You didn't even get a chance with the villain. He was just there being like, yeah, I'm a badass villain. And then once you finally get to the end to fight this badass villain, he gets betrayed. Like, cool. Great. And you replace him with Bowser. We've already fought Bowser. This is not about Dream Team, though. This is about Bowser's Inside Story and how you committed the same sin Bowser's Inside Story. But yeah, Partners in Time didn't commit it. They replaced Princess Shub with a cooler Princess Shub, an older Princess Shub, a more badass one, a more unhinged one, a bigger one. And it was awesome, and we loved it. Well, I loved it. I don't know if anyone else did, but I definitely loved it. Anyway, yeah, that's why the Shubs are better than Farfel, in my opinion. All right. So, with all that said, at the end of this discussion, what am I trying to say? Am I saying Bowser's Inside Story is bad? Am I here to tell you that you were wrong for liking it? Am I here to say that Bowser's Inside Story deserves to be in a D tier, in a tier list of the Mario and Luigi games that has 5 games and 2 of them are in P tier? Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm really trying to tell you? Yes, absolutely. No, I'm joking. Like, you're allowed, like, people are allowed to like and dislike what they like, you know? But at the end of the day, you do gotta wonder. I've played that game twice. I played it twice. I played that game once, had a bad experience, went back into it, fully knowing what I'm gonna experience, fully knowing, went into the giant battles with everything, and my opinion just went, wow, that was a little less annoying when I know what's coming. But it didn't. I didn't. There was nothing good for me to appreciate now that I wasn't being annoyed by everything else. I mean, maybe I came out of it thinking like, wait a minute, that final boss was pretty good. But that's it. Like, I didn't come out of it thinking like, whoa, I was wrong. I came out of it thinking like, there was not much else here. Like, Bowser was still slow. The giant fights were still annoying. The minigames. Oh, I didn't even get to the minigames. They're forgettable. And they're lame. Nobody talks about the minigames. I don't even think people like the minigames. Yeah. I think the one minigame they don't like. Wait. I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. I don't see anyone talking praise of the minigames. That's like the one thing they don't mention. So yeah. That's why I don't like Bowser's Inside Story. Alright? Yeah. So you're allowed to like it. Sorry, it looked like I was ending the thought there, but it's right back. You're allowed to like it. I'm allowed to dislike it. We're allowed to have opinions. I'm allowed to have opinions that you think are wrong. Just like you're allowed your opinions that I think are wrong. Alright? Now, with that said, am I really saying that Punish the Time is the best thing ever? Am I really saying it's a good game and we were all wrong? Am I really saying that we should stop shitting on it? Yes. Yes, I am. And I'm not joking. I'm not even gonna go back and be like, well, yada, yada, yada. No. Fuck you. No, not fuck you. But like, come on. Come on. Do you really want a section of me sitting here and saying, I'm not even going to mention it. I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction of hearing me say them. I'm not even going to make fun of them. No mention. You you want people to say those things about Punish Time, and you know what things I'm talking about. You know those things. That's the whole reason I have this whole I'm not joking thing here. Because you really thought I was going to come around and be like, yada, yada. There's so many videos you can watch on Punish Time that will tell you exactly the kind of things you were expecting whenever you hear someone talk about Punish Time. You can go watch Ant Dude if you want those same opinions regurgitated at you again. There were so many videos that just talks about Punish Time like it is. Alright? I'm not even talking about those things are truth. They're not truth. They're opinions. Again, I'm allowed to like Punish Time. I'm allowed to think it's the best thing ever. Because it is the best thing ever. And you know what? Yeah. I don't know. That was a weird ending, closing thoughts. But like, yeah, there's so many videos out there if you just want a different opinion from the one I was spouting. But this is just something for Punish Time fans, something for you to listen to. This community deserves to have different opinions. Alright? I deserve to say Bowser's Inside Story is a bad game. And I deserve to say Punish Time is a better game than Bowser's Inside Story. And you're allowed to your opinion to think I'm wrong. Alright? Alright? I'm glad we're in agreement. And as always, thank you for watching. I live in Puerto Rico. Okay? Bye.